Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. All right, you guys, it is 8:32 and I'm not going to be out here very long. Glad that you're here. We're going to be going over our book, Becoming the Woman God Wants Me to Be. This is a 90-day guide to live in the Proverbs 31 life. This is exactly what we've been studying. We're now in week 11. So you guys, that's amazing because if you've stuck with it, not whether you stayed with me or not, whether you've stuck with it, you should be seeing some changes, not only in you, but in the people around you, in your circumstances, in your situations, and how you deal with circumstances and situations. An amazing, amazing resource. So we're in week 11, which is called the Ministry of the Home. So we've been through, let me just take us back real quick. We start off with faith foundations in week 1. We went to godly habits in week 2. We did some healthy eating in week 3. Week 4 was strengthen our body. Week 5 was management tools. Week 6 was financial planning. 7 is personal appearance. Week 8 is home enterprises. Week 9 was household management. Week 10 was family relationships. And now we're in week 11, which is the ministry of the home. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. So this week we're talking about the ministry of family meals, dressing your family for spiritual success, practicing hospitality, opening your home for ministry, hosting God's servants, and then of course you have your weekly recap and your weekly reflection. Now, I do pray that all of us are taking advantage of these studies, right? What is the sense of purchasing a resource? Hey, Miss Alwanda, what's the sense of purchasing a resource? Logging on to the live videos, but we never sit down and actually do the study for ourselves, right? It's good to hear me talk about it. I love to talk about it with you. I do a Sunday night recap with a few friends, and we were all recapping last night. It's all great. But if you don't read it, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. Why don't you read it and apply it? Don't just read, but apply what you read. Some things are for you, some things are not for you, but I am determined that there's something in here that I can use for my life. Now, before I move into this, I wanted to share one little thing. So I'm doing this study with you all. I'm doing my book in my Titus 2 Women's group. Hey, y'all. But for my personal self, for Shakima, for me, I'm doing Donna Parto's Becoming the Woman I Want to Be, right? This is a 90-day journey to renewing your spirit, your soul, and your body. So every day for 90 days, there's something about, there's the word of God for your spirit. There's something for your soul, and there's something for your body. The body part is what I want to talk about a little bit tonight. It is a practical application to working on your outward body, right? Those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know that I've been on a health journey for about 16 months now straight. This has been a for real journey for me, 16 months. I've been out here getting after it. And it's not been easy, but I don't think that things worth having are always easy. I don't think it always has to be a challenge. But when I have been very lax in my body and the upkeep and the care of my body, then I'm going to have to fight my way back to health, right? That makes sense. So in this book, and I am not giving you medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not anything. I'm just a woman who has decided that there are some things I need to change about me for me because I have goals. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain that those who read it might run with it. I'm the one who got to read it so I can run with it, right? And so for me, this has become very important in where I am currently in my life. Hey, everybody. So in the book, and I'm not going over this with anybody. This is you personally if you want to do it on your own after your 90 days or before your 90 days or whatever you want to do. But she goes over, there's 13 weeks again, just like the book we're doing now. But she gives you a lot of pre-work before she goes into the study to make sure that you are ready for this. One of the things in here where she talks about the body is your diet. And she also says, I'm not a doctor or a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a fellow human being who has figured out that what I eat directly impacts my emotions and my energy level. Bam. Totally the truth. Now, I will say this over today, I did not, because we had an event in my house. But before today, I have been doing very well on what she prescribes in the book as far as the body portion. The first week, because I'm getting ready to go into week 3, the first week I struggled with doing her plan because I strength train 5 days a week. 5 days is a max. I try to strength train 5, 4 for sure. But when you strength train, you need protein in your diet to be able to build muscle. And so she's very limited in the first couple weeks of what you can eat. And I was like, I don't have any, I can't afford not to eat what I need to help my muscles be strong. I'm out here working it out for real, y'all. I go to the gym for real. When I looked at my laundry pile this week, it was full of gym clothes. I was like, what in the world? Who is this person? But it's been beneficial for me. I had gained a few pounds back that I did not necessarily want to have. And I was like, Lord, and I'm praying, Lord, you're going to have to help me. I have the ability to lose weight, but I have to have the want to. And so I wanted to. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to follow the plan, because in week 2, I can add back some protein. So it's just a week. I don't do heavy weights, but I am consistent in my strength training. I think I'm up to 15s. I can do 25s. I can do 30s, but I don't want to bulk. I just want to build enough muscle to burn fat. And so I limit myself, specifically when I'm doing dead rows, or when I'm doing Roman split squats, or when I'm doing Romanian deadlifts. I limit myself to a 15 max each hand, because I don't want to bulk. I just want to lose enough. I want to build enough muscle to lose weight. Anyway, so I was a little hesitant because of that restriction on the protein. So during the body section, she tells you what it is that you can eat, and she gives you a plan. She gives you what you will need for your exercise program, what you will need for the diet, and what is approved, right? Okay. So this is what it looks like. It's all written down for you, and it's broken down into the weeks. Each week you're either having this, or you're taking something away, or you're putting something back. It's very veggie heavy, if that makes any sense. So very vegetarian heavy, not vegan, because you do add in eggs starting in the second week. So for those of you who are always asking me, Shakima, how is it that you're losing weight? How is it that you're, how are you getting on this healthy plan? This is what I'm doing now. It's not keto. It's not vegan. It's not vegetarian. It's not Mediterranean. It's just this that she lays out in this book. As I'm renewing my spirit, as I'm renewing my soul, I have decided to come in and work in tandem and renew and rejuvenate my body. And I got on the scale this week, and I was down 4 pounds. Now, again, the scale is not the ultimate of who I am or what I'm doing, but I know that my max weight is 175. I do not want to be 1 ounce bigger than 175. I've been as small as 161. 161 was very, very thin for me, and it made me look sick. I was starting to look sick. I was feeling a type of way, but I was 161 without doing any weight training, any strength training. And so now I've included strength training. I'm at 172, and I could get as small as 165 would be amazing, but 165 with the strength training, right? So I'm following what's in this book. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you, when people ask me, Shakima, what are you doing? This is what I'm doing. Okay, very good. Glad you joined. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to all the things. Now, back to this book, day 71, y'all. We're at No, we're only 9 days, 19 days away from being done. We have this week and 2 more weeks, y'all, and that's it. It's all over, but it's for the fat lady to sing now. The question on the floor is, what weight did I start at on this journey 16 months ago? Was 230. I started at 230. And so I lost 89 pounds, but I gained back 15 pounds. And now I'm just at 11 pounds gained back altogether. So I was at, my heaviest weight was 250. So my heaviest weight was 250. I would kind of go back and forward. 250 to 230 is about where I kind of plateaued out. I've lost and I've gained, and I've lost and I've gained. So when I went to my doctor and then to the lifestyle coach in April of 23, I was at 230. I think she had me at 231, but I, on my home scale, 230. And so when I went to my appointment 2 weeks ago, I was at 176 point whatever. And I had clothes on, so I was probably, a little bit less than that. And when I weighed this morning, I was 172.4. And so, and yesterday I was 173.4. And the day before that, I was 174.4 and 175.4. So I've been slowly going down, but I have been doing the plan that she has in here. And this is, there's only thing that I have is my doctor, my lifestyle coach as accountability. I have to check my blood pressure to make sure that my blood pressure is not going crazy. And then I have a friend of mine who lives in Hawaii. Actually, every day she sends me a workout and we do the same workout, right? She'll send it to me via my phone. I go to the gym. That's what I do for the day. And we trained together when she was here living in North Carolina, but she's moved. And we just kind of reconnected, and she's like, hey, perimenopause is getting me. I said, yeah, I know it's getting me too. And so I've just determined that I need to be healthy in my body for the things I'm asking God for. I desire marriage. I desire a very healthy and robust, intimate life. And with all of that being said, my body has to be prepared for that. I can't get the husband and then try to work off the 230 pounds. I got to do it right now. So again, that takes me down 55 pounds. Yeah, something like that. Like I said, I was at 161. So, and I'm at 172 now. So you can do the math. 58 pounds, almost 60 pounds. So that's where I am. And I'm continuing to move along. So we're on day 71. This talks about the ministry of family meals. So our source verse for today is Proverbs 31:30. Now you have to understand this. Everybody doesn't desire to be the Proverbs 31 woman. That's a wish, a goal that I've always had. I have always wanted to be this woman who is so capable in all these areas. Now, I realize that this is a lot of pressure for some people. And they're like, well, that wasn't meant to be one person. That was meant to be the whole church. I get that and I understand. But I do believe that it is a goal that I can aspire to. And I do believe that I can be all of those things as an individual. You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. So charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. That's Proverbs 31:30. Now, my family, my kids, all the people I go to church with, they think I am Jesus's third cousin on his mama's side. Now, listen, I will tell you this. When I go in for the Lord, I'm like really in with the Lord. Me and him, we locked in. And I say that because he's the only person that has never disappointed me in my life. He's not always given me what I've asked for, thank God. But he's the only person that's never disappointed me in my life. And so I spend a lot of time in Thanksgiving for that. There's a lot of things that I've wanted. There's a lot of things that I've tried to go after, and the Lord has stopped me, or the Holy Spirit has arrested my spirit and be like, I don't think that's quite good for you. Or He's had other people show themselves that that's not quite good for me. And so I have, God has always been right there for me. But I think that it is my responsibility as a parent to teach my children the things. Back in the Old Testament, it talks all the time. Tell your children, talk to your children. Don't let your children forget. Always remind. Talk to your children. Tell your children. Don't let your children forget. Always remind. And so I think that is something that we can do. Your additional source verse is Jeremiah 6:16. It says, this is what the Lord says. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient path. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your soul. Most of us out here can attest that we are trying to find rest for our soul. We so busy. Y'all. So today is Labor Day. I always get Memorial and Labor Day wrong. I know it's one of the two. Labor Day is in September. Memorial is in May. Got it. Today is Labor Day. Now, typically in our home, this has been going on now for the past 5, 6, 7. I've lost count how many years this has happened. But we host an event in our house every Saturday that we're able, called Saturday Suppers. Saturday Suppers started on a word from the Lord for a friend of mine. And the Lord said, we hadn't seen each other in years. And God just said to me one day, call her and invite her to dinner. And I was like, okay, praise the Lord. And then the Lord said, every week. I was like, okay, Jesus, whatever. And so I called her. We had not talked in years and years and years. She had just retired. I was still teaching, and we just kind of lost track. It wasn't even really that we had anything in common. She's much older than I am by at least 30 years. We didn't have anything in common other than when we worked together, and the place I'm from, her late husband was from. Total random. So we started off Saturday Suppers, and it just has become very beneficial for both of us. My kids have gotten a granny lady figure. I've gained a very good friend, and she's gained in me whatever she thinks I am to her, and it's worked out. But we have not left it that it's just us. We've invited, I open up Saturday Suppers to really anybody in my sphere of influence. If you don't have anywhere to go, if you just need a place to be, Saturday Suppers is always here. Well, this week, we did not have Saturday Suppers. Jackson is in he's in a fundraising competition next week where he has to cook for his culinary class. He's one of the 3 students chosen, so he's going to be doing that. So a friend of mine was like, well, hey, Shakima, I invite Jackson over, and him and my daughter can do a cook-off. And so that's what we did all day Saturday. Then my computer was acting crazy. I had to run around and do some stuff with that. So I was like, you know what? I just don't have time to do Saturday Suppers on Saturday. Why don't we do Monday brunch? Because, hey, I'm going to be home. We can do it. So it turned into my friend, my 2 kids. Well, sister had to work. So Jackson and I, my friend. So we were at church yesterday, and my sister heard about it, and she was like, well, I hope you have fun at brunch since I ain't get no invitation. So then I was like, I wasn't trying not to invite you. So my sister came. Well, then my other sister, I was like, well, what are y'all doing tomorrow? She's like, oh, we ain't doing nothing. I was like, well, y'all come over. So my sister, my niece, my nephew ended up being somewhere else, but that was a couple more people. Well, there had been a lady at church. I've been trying to have her over, and we just our schedules never work out. So I was like, well, why don't you come over tomorrow for brunch if you're home? She's like, oh yeah, I'll be home. Well, then she messaged me. She was like, well, can my friend come? Absolutely. Anybody can come. Well, then I had another friend, and she just had a loss recently, and she's just trying to go through her grieving period and whatever. And I know she needs to get out. So I text her. I was like, hey, what are you doing? And I share all that to say today's topic talks about the ministry of family meals. Now, we all know back in Acts, where it talked about, nightly they got together and they shared a meal in homes. They were eating together. They were fellowshipping together. Nobody had any needs, because if I had a need and you had a way to meet the need, you met the need. Or if you had a need and I had a way to meet the need, and I sold what I had so you could get your needs met. That's just how the church went. We have gotten so far away from that because everybody is busy. I'm busy Tuesday night, Saturday morning, Sunday evening. I mean, and when my kids were in Taekwondo, we were in Taekwondo 4 nights a week, and we had to drive 35 minutes to get there one way, 4 nights a week. And we were there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, because they wanted to take all the classes, and they were travel team. So we traveling all over here and there and everywhere. So we didn't have time. Most of your kids are in AAU and Pop Warner and this, that, and travel ball and travel this, because everybody's going to be a professional something for sure in the next 10 years. Right? So we spending all this money to help them get all these great skills, and we're not spending any time together. And when I looked around at the people that were in my home, I mean, I posted 2 reels today, so y'all should be able to see. We were all over the place, and they were like, "Can I help you?" No, you can't help me do anything. Sit down, talk, enjoy people, do all the things. But I had my other friend came, and her husband, and my niece and nephew, they were here. So, I mean, we had a house full, and 4 dogs. We kept putting them outside because they was in our way. You got to go. So, the house was full of people. But that's how it should be. And even if your house isn't full of people, if that's not your ministry, are you even sitting down and eating with your family? What do family meals look like at your house? When I was younger, we didn't all sit around the table, but we all ate at the same time. Now you have me eating at 5 because I'm home. Jackson might have soccer. He's not eating till 8 or 9. Sister gets home at 2, so she's eating early because she got to go to bed early because she got to be up early. She gets up at 4 a.m. every morning. So here we all over the place, and there's never a time when we can get together and share a meal. It's more than sharing a meal if you think about it. When you're sitting down, so I'll tell you what else I did, and then I'll chat that part through. So when everybody got here, and we were just about 10 minutes from everything being ready. Now, y'all, okay, we had Hawaiian sweet cinnamon rolls. We made some faux cinnamon rolls. We had stuffed shells. We had grits. We had bacon. We had sausage. We had pizza rolls. We had ham and cheese rolls. We had fruit. The watermelon came out of my garden. We had pineapple and strawberries. We had jams. We had biscuits. And I forgot to make the eggs. Y'all, I just forgot. So much going on. But what food does is food gives you an opportunity to slow down. So everybody fixed their plate. And I had said to them right before we started to serve, I said, so I want to just tell y'all that I kind of tricked y'all a little bit. I didn't intend to trick people, but the Lord had gave me an idea. And it wasn't that I was trying to trick people. I did want people to come here, but there was an ulterior motive for them to come. When you accept my invitation, whatever we doing here, we doing. Everybody is involved. Okay. So I recently went to see the movie The Forge. I've seen it twice now, and I'll probably go and see it again. I've asked my children for it for the holiday. This is what I want for my present. And when you go and see The Forge, it's a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. But you can order the Bible study. I love a good Bible study. So I ordered it. And when you order it from Amazon, you get a little code in the back of the book where you can download 5 little clips, that 1 clip for each week of the 5-week Bible study. And so what I told them is, I said, I want y'all to watch something. So everybody got their plate. And everybody sat down and we ate. And then I set the computer, I put it on the big screen, did it with the big screen. Hey, y'all. And we all got to see, turned it up really so everybody could hear. And people were mesmerized with what was going on the screen. It was just a 4 little minute clip. It wasn't even long at all. But there's also a facilitator's guide that comes with that. So I sat down and I just started asking questions. What we didn't understand, or what we have failed to remember, is when you sit down and you share a meal and we're all together and the atmosphere is just right, This is a time for open communication. We can talk about the day. We can talk about things we're struggling with. We can encourage one another. We can do all those types of things that we can't do when we're here, there, and everywhere. And so as we sat down and we watched that clip, and it was different people. We had some guys here, we had some gals here, we had some kids here. My niece was here, my son was here. They're both 15. I think the oldest person was 70 plus. You know, we're all different ages, but we could all relate to what was going on that screen. And we sat down and we began to talk through some things. How are you doing? What do you see yourself doing in 5 years? What do you want people to think about you? Just questions. And you would be surprised because in the leader guide, it says you're probably going to be doing most of the talking. Can I tell you, people were just jumping in and chiming in and they were talking. And that's the whole point of the family meal. When you sit down with your children, screens off, and it doesn't have to be a 3-4 hour meal. Nobody has time for that, but I can carve out 30 minutes and we sit and we eat and we do all the things. What you're doing is you're figuring out what's happening in the lives of your children and in the life of your spouse, because, hey, I've got soccer 3 days this week and then I got something else. And so the only time you see your husband or your wife is when y'all go into bed, because everybody's everywhere. And so when she talks about, you know, the ministry of the family meal, she asks us, she says, whatever happened to the family dinner hour? You know, I remember that. I remember, she talks in here about going to McDonald's. It's very true. We never ate fast food when I lived with my grand. We never. My grand cooked 3 meals a day. And I cook 3 meals a day when I'm home. Well, when my kids were smaller, for sure. Now that they're bigger, they cook for themselves. We made some recipes today, and I had home canned some things. We were able to use the home canned foods. I had, my niece came early. She was at a friend's house. They dropped her off. I said, hey, put on an apron. I got 4 aprons in my kitchen. Everybody that was in the kitchen got an apron. Jackson had an apron. Mom had an apron. My sister had an apron. And my niece had an apron because we were here early. And we were all just doing the things. My friend came over. She's like, what I can do? Wash your hands. You can put the bacon on this tray. And she just was in the kitchen doing stuff. It provides an opportunity just to talk. And not only to talk, but to hear and to listen to what other people are saying. A lot of times when we have things going on in our lives, we're not going to tell you what it is. But when you have a moment when life is slowed down and you're able to see that next, you know, those next few minutes are not, nobody's pulling for your attention. Nobody wants you to do anything. And you're like, oh, okay. So is this really going on in your life? Sure. Well, this is what I would do, or this is how I would handle the things, or whatever the case is. And so my friend was able to chit chat with everybody because she knows a lot of things. And I was able to run the kitchen. And then before long, because I didn't want the younger kids to not be involved in the conversation, I said, okay, we're just about done. Y'all put your aprons away. Y'all go into the main space and everybody talk. She talks in here. She gives us a few statistics, and I think things might be a little bit different now. She says, but for a 2004 study of 4,746 children, 11 to 18 years old, published in the Archives of Pediatrics and Adolescents Medicine, found that frequent family meals were associated with lower risks of smoking, drinking, substances, lower instances of depressive symptoms, or unaliving thoughts. Also better grades. I'm going to be involved and invested in what's going on with you. I'm not going to let everybody else be so invested that you're now trying to be with them. No, I'm involved. I want to know what's happening in your life. I want you to know that I'm invested. My son, I have a parent app that I can go and look on his. I'm looking. Just know that I'm looking. And sometimes usually we cook together in my family. And so we're in the kitchen. And I'm like, so what happened in third period? He's like, what happened in third period, Mom? Well, I got a phone call that you didn't make it to class. What's the problem? He's like, oh, no, Mom, I was there. I was like, well, we're going to need to remedy this situation. I'm going to need some information. My kids need to know that I am invested in them. My husband needs to know that I'm invested in him when God sends me one. Nothing is more important than this 30 minutes that I'm about to spend with you, if that's all I have. Make that 30 minutes count. She says we also noticed that more teens often the more often teens had dinner with their parents, the less likely they were to be active doing things or to have active friends. Less likely girls were to have boyfriends 2 years older, or less time teens spent with boyfriends or girlfriends, right? So if I'm spending time with you, this is less time for them to have to spend with somebody else. And that doesn't mean that you shelter your kids and you don't want them to have friends and grow up and do stuff. But I'm telling you, when parents are not around, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. And I send my son to regular school, so I know that there are things going on. But when I get you at the end of the day, I'm going to know all that I need to know. I'm not going to send him to regular school for 7.5 hours a day. Then he's in activities for 2 and 3 more hours of the day. Then he might have homework for an hour or two. And then before you know it, it's time for bed. I'm curving some of those activities. We don't do everything. One thing, pick your one thing. Well, I want to do this, Mom. He wanted to do travel soccer so bad. I can't afford that. I can't afford the time it's going to take away from my family. Now, you can do school soccer, you can do Y soccer, but I'm not doing this travel stuff. They want to practice 3-4 nights a week. We out every weekend. It doesn't work for my family structure. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean I can't afford it monetarily. I can afford it monetarily, but I can't afford it familially. Because if I'm on the road with you and sister has to work, which means she can't travel, so now I'm absent in her life. No, I'm present. I'm a present parent. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to be present in my children's lives. God is present in my life. Why would I do anything different for them? Well, your kid's going to hate you when they grow up. That they might. But something tells me when they have kids of their own, they'll see the value of the time we spend together in our family unit. Because I've had people say that before. I've had people tell Alana that Mom was going to keep her here for the rest of my life so I didn't have to be alone. Trust me, I'm trying to be alone. I do not need my children to stay with me forever, but I don't need to just throw them out there to the wolves unprepared either. We talk a lot. We talk a lot about things, what's happening in the world. We talk about political systems. We talk about monetary. We talk about all the things. And I'm okay with that. You can choose how you're okay with your kids. And I'm not it doesn't bother me that people say, well, you shelter your children. They're in good hands here. I know they're in good hands here. I want no harm for my kids. But I know people out there might. Okay. All right, moving on. She says, clearly family meals are extremely significant, but no one has time to cook anymore. What's the answer? So she gives you guys a proposal, the family breakfast half hour. Here's the thing. I don't have time to do family breakfast. We're on 2 different levels. Sister leaves very early. Jack and I have to leave extremely early. We'd have to get up at 3 a.m. just to all be together. So family breakfast doesn't work for my family, but it may work for your family. We already know we're going to spend a meal together on Saturday. Saturday suppers is what we do. We do that for ourselves as well as other people. A lot of times on Sundays after church, we have lunch together. That's our biggest main meal. We don't have anything else. I don't do a lot of cooking Sunday dinners because Saturday is like our Sunday dinner, right? We do a big Saturday meal. Sunday, we do our lunch. Everybody figures out what we want to eat or whatever the case is. Ciao. Okay. So that's what we do. The other thing is, if that doesn't work for you, what day of the week does work? Friday nights are good for us. Sister works during the day, so that helps us because by the time we come home, she's on her way home. So that all works out really well. If we have holidays, like today's a holiday, nobody's going anywhere. We're here. We're holidaying together, and we try to do a meal. We also invite other people. We spend a lot of our I'm off for the summer, the same as my kids are. And so we try to do stuff then. It may not be that you can do it every night of the week, but could you do it one night? Could you do it 2 nights? Could you include your family meal shares at some point, maybe Sunday after services, or if you do Saturday services or whatever? But I need to begin to invest here for my family. Okay. All right. So your affirmation for today is I make mealtime special. She did talk about, we did this at retreat when we had retreat back in June, where everybody, because we had been together for a couple of days, most of us were just meeting each other for the very first time. Now I have an international women's ministry called Titus 2 Women. First Love Ministries with Shakima Wilson has 3 arms. Daughters of Grace, they're my seasoned saints. Those ladies, my older ladies, are well now into their late 70s. The other portion of that is Titus 2 Women. Those ladies are all ages, and we're from all across the world. The third arm of that, or leg of that, is called Coffee and Conversation. And so at retreat, what we did for those of us who were just meeting each other, and we were spending time, and ladies were becoming acquainted with each other. But I gave everybody 3 index cards, and those index cards, you were going to write out something for 3 different ladies in the room that they could take with them after we left retreat, and they could read as an encouragement. You know, how do you encourage your kids? I'm always encouraging my children, best I know how. Saturday suppers is an amazing night. Game nights as well. So Saturday suppers is pretty much a long evening for us, because my kids and I start cleaning about 4, because we want to make sure that the house is nice and smells good and the toilet is clean and all that. Then we start our meal, depending on if I need to heat anything up that somebody brings in. But after we're done, the kids are responsible for the cleanup. I do the cooking, myself and my son sometimes. They're responsible for the cleanup because we have another little friend that comes over. And then they break out the games after we're done, or we'll do a dessert bar or something like that. Then they break out the games to play. And it's really, really nice. So game nights can definitely count as spending time together. Let me see. I wanted to make sure I hit everything on that for us. Okay, your practical is to have a sit down at home meal every day. I'm not telling you got to do it every day. I'm just telling you implement it more days than you do now, right? We for sure do Saturday suppers. We try to do something on Sundays because we're home on the weekends. I'm not telling you to totally revamp everything and shovel everybody's plans around, but I'm telling you that you can do something. That I think you can do something. Tomorrow night, let me see, tomorrow's Tuesday. What do I have? Jackson has, no, I can't do tomorrow night because I have things. Wednesday, I'll try to be back, but tomorrow is Dress Your Family for Spiritual Success. And then Wednesday is Practice Hospitality. I will say this, that I try to set a pretty table. I try to set up a good table when people come here. That doesn't mean I put my fine china out. What that means is I try to have a variety. I try to make sure that I ask the Lord to help me. I ask God to help me afford to be able to buy things, and I shop on sale. I don't generally ask people to bring anything when they come here, but a lot of people want to do that. And so if they want to do it, I'll try to find something less expensive on my list, or something I don't need to be cooking ahead, and say, hey, will you bring the drinks? Or, hey, can you bring the whatevers? So the question, I'm going to show this question. If you have questions, ask them, please, because I'll be happy to answer. So it says it can be pretty costly. How do you navigate the cost? So because we've been doing this for a long time, my friend who comes always insists, she doesn't have to, on bringing the chicken. So she goes to Costco and she gets the Costco chicken. She'll bring 2 of them. She doesn't have to bring chicken, but that's what she wants to bring, and I let her. She'll also ask me if she can bring a side. I typically, my kids and I, we provide the sides. So if I know she's bringing chicken and potatoes was on sale this week at my grocery store, because I shop every week, then potatoes is going to be our side some kind of way. And I can do a little gravy. I know my friend doesn't eat a lot of heavy, rich foods. So I'll try to do a little side salad or something like that. Or I'll try to do, like this week, corn was on sale at Food Line. So 4 ears for $1. I'd get 8 ears of corn. I have a mandolin slicer. I slice that corn off the cob so that people don't have to, and I'll do like a Mexican corn, or I'll do something with a corn dish. So I try to shop what's on sale, and we do split it up. Everybody brings something. The other little fellow that comes, dessert is he does dessert. So we do the sides, she does the chicken, and he does dessert. We have chicken every week. That's her thing. She likes it. It works out perfectly for us. We generally eat off one chicken. The kids and I keep the second chicken. That helps us with meals throughout the week. That's just what she likes to do, and I don't stop her. And so that's how we handle it. But everybody brings something. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy schmancy. If for some reason, like I've got the garden, right? So I try to plant lettuce so we can have salads. I'm actually going to go plant some lettuce in this next week because the fall garden will be coming very soon. So I try to plant stuff that I can then harvest to cook. Green beans we frozen and put in the freezer, or I shop on sale and just throw things in the main freezer, and then I can pull out. I always have a stash of stuff. And then what I do in the garden is I'll take my garden goodies and I can them. I home can them, water bath can. And so now I've got cans of stuff that I can open so that I'm saving some money that way. Okay. Anybody else for a question? So anywho, don't forget, if anybody is interested in this book, I did find it on Amazon. There was a link that I cannot find the link where she gave you just the first kind of week or the first introduction so you can kind of see what the book was about. I can't find it anywhere on my phone. And I needed it for somebody else. But anywho, there it is, you guys. I hope you're enjoying the book. 19 days to go. We're almost done. We're on the downswing now, y'all. I can see this light at the end of the tunnel, for real. Stay the course. Keep going. Keep doing the best that you know how to do. And it's all going to be well in the end. I love you guys. Don't forget to like the video. Share if you feel like it was worth sharing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not. Please, please, please come follow us on YouTube. We do all the family vlogging things. We are excited to have you with us, whether it's on whatever platform. I thank y'all so much for joining me, and we'll see you Wednesday night. Okay, y'all. Bye.